Hey everybody, this is Brett from Moonstream Crypto, and in this video we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and we're going to talk about M2 money supply, also the DXY, the IBIT, and some other clues where this market might be headed. But for now, what a great rally we had. I do expect a broad market rally, and I'm going to talk about that too. A couple of the coins we recommended the other day, one of them went up 25% today, and that of course is Pendle. So let's dive into the charts. So what we're looking at here is Bitcoin, of course, and if you've been following me for any length of time, I've been saying that Bitcoin would pull back to the midpoint of this vector candle and retest 114K, and that's when we were up in these ranges. And if we couldn't hold 114, we'd come back and retest the prior resistance at 112,000. So we've done exactly that, and we're bouncing off of the 21-day exponential moving average and this trend line here. So it's very bullish here. I think we do push higher, and the key will be, of course, that $120,000 level. So looking at our signals here, we are seeing green coming off the bottom, our trend strength indicator, and bullish divergence on the RSI Pro, and of course our early reversal indicator triggering right in here. I specifically want to look at a couple other coins, or one of which we're seeing one of our rocket signals, which indicates big moves in the coming days, most likely. So with that, I want to just jump over, however, real quick and look at some of these other charts. We'll come back to looking at ETH and Sol and everything else. Looking at the DXY, though, still in his downward trending channel here, which is good. We kind of had a bit of a throwover, rejected, the dollar headed lower, and this is, of course, good for Bitcoin and crypto. And we've broken below that 2-year cycle low back in this range there, and down to this other level, so which has now become resistance. So I would expect the DXY to continue dropping into what I have labeled as Bitcoin rally zone, and if we can get down even lower to the 3-year cycle low, breaking below this 95 level on the DXY, that's where it's super Bitcoin rally zone and the markets are flying. So it looks like we're headed the right direction. Looking at the IBIT, I've been tracking the 4-hour IBIT since inception, and if you're new here, you probably don't know this, but all the way back, and noticing that all of these gaps on the 4-hour tend to fill, like the CME gap, caught the cup and handle breakout from inception on this BlackRock ETF, the IBIT, and all of these gaps filling until it was 100% of the time. And right up to the point where I said it was 100% of the time, it stopped working for a little while. But it has been very accurate and projecting next levels in price. So we do have a couple unfilled gaps down here. Maybe those fill in the bear market. But as of late, most of these have been filling. And there's nothing to see here on the 4-hour. But looking at the daily, we did come down and fill that gap, much like on the CME. It came back right down to this buy block, which we visualized with our custom indicators. You can learn more at cryptomastery.org. These are the best signals I've ever used, and we've made a couple accidental discoveries that really are giving us an edge. So moving right along, global M2, we can see finally catching up. We had this divergence here where M2 was pushing up here, and then Bitcoin pushed down with some of the tariff fears and other things that have been going on. So a bit of an anomaly there, but we're back on track and tracking the global M2 rather pretty closely. I'm using a 90-day offset, which is working well for me. Some people use a 70, some people use an 84. Those were working back along here. Now I'm using a 90-day offset, but do expect higher highs to come in the coming weeks, as we see from the global M2. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. The path to 150K and 200K Bitcoin still on track. We needed this push today to hold this white line, the fourth and final angle, what I believe, of the bull run. And the blue line, of course, is the fractal over here. Now, some people call this the crayons of TA. I get it. This won't be exact, but I have stretched it out a bit because it's a log chart. And it's still on track to getting to these numbers. I've been doing the study for a couple of years now, and this, of course, is the same Fibonacci fractal, or study rather, that called the last cycle high from the 2017 high to the low down here, extended out at nailed the top of the last market tier. So if we use that same study from this high to low, that gives us these levels here, the 1.618 pushing us right to 100K. So I did think we'd get there. We spent some time at 100K, rejected, came down, found support, and we're back above nicely, pushing higher. The next leg up would be 150K, maybe a bit of a throwover and a pullback, and then that march up to 200K. The 11 factors of why I think we could get there, we've covered this before. And you can see these I've been I've been following and adding to this since 2022 really, and we had 7 of these factors. Now there's 11, and the ones in green have happened. Of course, BlackRock and the ETFs, a number of these other ones, corporate FOMO, U.S. country adoption, post-halving reduced money or miner supply. You probably should add on to this that the over-the-counter desks are running short on Bitcoin. So either way, less available exchange supply also leading toward demand surge. We're seeing that happen, and a couple of these other ones we haven't seen happen yet, like the commercial real estate crash bubble, and also flight to quality UK pensions. We're just this, I think we can start to turn light green, because in fact this is historic, because we just today the Trump organization had, I'm just going to jump over to it, we can come back on my Twitter here, I talked about this and retweeted this. So today we had Trump signing the executive order allowing Bitcoin in 401ks, right? So I have that over here, pensions, 401ks, sovereign wealth funds. So this is happening. It's happening right now. Trump signing executive order to stop debanking Bitcoin. If you remember last cycle, you might have banks like Wells Fargo turning off your banking if they knew you were buying crypto and Bitcoin. And of course, Trump electing Bitcoin supporter for the Fed board. So all of these are leading towards, and my analogy was each of these like a small smoldering campfire. And if all of them ignite, it's going to be like a huge, massive forest fire that's impossible to put out. So I'm turning that green. Actually, let's undo that. That was the wrong one. This one here with pensions, 401ks, I'm going to make that light green. We'll turn it dark when we start seeing more of these sovereign wealth funds, right? But we have seen UK pensions. We're going to see US do the same, starting to buy Bitcoin. So the more, when these all go green, we are rocketing higher. So that's exactly the path here. And we'll have to see what happens as we get closer to that. I do want to jump back over here and talk about a couple things, and then we'll get back into the charts. You know, this is an interesting chart here showing the last cycles where there was this huge liquidity pushing up in the last cycles, and now we just kind of have this spotty M2 growth and not quite as strong. So a lot of signs pointing toward this cycle is different, and that's no surprise to any of us, of course. Let's see, here's a quick interview when I was at the Bitcoin conference that I just came across. I've forgotten the outlet that did the interview. Pretty good interview on that. But what I wanted to talk about here, I showed, this is August 1st, saying the CME gap filled, and we're going to bounce from here. So surely, of course, after today, that was proven to be right. DXY talked about, here is alt season. So people were saying alt season is here. Cointelegraph coming out saying alt season is here. It is not here. I was saying that it's not here. Then also, we've since pulled back from this important level and are coming down toward Bitcoin season again, but certainly we could go either way in the coming weeks. I just didn't want to have people thinking it was alt season yet. I'm going to leave it there. This is an interesting study, though, where I maybe have forecast the total market cycle high based on a study we did last cycle, and maybe you forecast the next bottom. This pullback, it's very interesting. We figured out that from the prior cycles, high to low, it was exactly pi. It wasn't a Fibonacci number. It was 3.14. Nobody's else talking about that. We'll see. We'll see if it plays out. Probably won't, but wouldn't that be cool if we figured out something new? All right, coming back to the charts here, let's dive in and look at some other coins and look at the total market cap. Let's jump into that because we're above 3.8 trillion again, and that was a key level. That was a prior resistance back over here. Of course, the last cycle, the price of Bitcoin had nothing to do with the cycle high. It was when the market cycle, or the market total market cap, hit $3 trillion exactly, and then we saw programmatic selling kick in. So the measured move I have on this for this cycle, right around 4.8 trillion, I think is likely going to be the top. We'll adjust from there, but that would be the measured move from this bull flag on that total market cap on the weekly basis. But seeing a nice little pennant here forming, I am bullish at this point and going forward. Also, because we don't have any more sell blocks, this is another one of our custom indicators showing the buyers where the buy limit orders are on the books and not seeing any sellers. In contrast, to total market 2, we see lots of sellers up above. That's a lot of Ethereum sellers. Everyone thinks ETH's going to flip Bitcoin. They say that every cycle, but there's all of this red right here are heavy sellers. Now, we do have one of our favorite signals, the rocket. You can see that. I call it the rocket on the launch pad because invariably price shoots up into the sky afterward. Kind of looks like a bottle rocket sitting on a launch pad, like the fuse. This is the rocket fuel, shoots up. We see this time and time again. And we're seeing one in Solana as well. Also a rocket on total 3. So I think we're going to push higher into these sell blocks. Now, if we can take out these sell blocks, we are off to the races, everybody. And that's what we'd expect and want to see for a parabolic portion of the bull run. So with that, I'm not going to really talk about Bitcoin dominance that much, just the fact that it's been dropping and is back down to a key support line. Will it bounce? I don't know. ETH dominance has been on the rise, and we're just kind of waiting for Solana dominance to kind of push up. High hopes for Sol as well. So looking at ETH itself, we can see these sell blocks. We had a big sell block in here, and I had a note like this saying sell Ethereum at 3,800 right in there. So we saw it push through there. Big cup and handle breakout, measured move right to this 48 level, $4,700, $4,800. I would be taking profits there. Let it pull back, let it chop around. I'd buy again on a break above 4,900 or above 5,000 into price discovery zone. But still have sell pressure up above, as we can see on the daily, and also a lot of sell pressure on ETH on that weekly time frame. However, Solana not showing so much sell pressure and in a nice uptrending channel. I like Sol a lot. It's coming off the bottom of the channel. We have our green early reversal indicator aligning with our trend strength indicator going green. If you'd like the free trade success checklist that we use for these, go to moonstream.io/free checklist. And it'll give you an interactive PDF to make your trading much easier, especially when using our crypto mastery signals, because when we start seeing 2 or 3 of these align, like this bullish divergence down here in this circle, magic can happen. Sol's about to pump. Mark my words. We have these 3. We have the rocket going. We're at the lower edge of a trend channel. Sol's going to push up to around $200, maybe $250 from here. I'm highly confident in that. Pendle, I had mentioned 2 days ago in our Wednesday M3 Active Trader class, one of the coins I put a buy alert out on, and I reiterated that earlier today in our Retire Rich class. There are links in the comments below if you'd like to learn more about these. And then after that, Pendle shot up 25%. This green block is money flow, so there's big money flowing in to Pendle. I could see it in the chart, and it's continuing to go higher. This is one I think could go up to around $7 to $10 from here. The next one that I also put a recommendation out 2 days ago, Ondo, and in our private chat to our members here today, this also showing a rocket, and so I would expect Ondo to have a nice push higher, sort of like Pendle did earlier today. So charts looking good on these, again in upward trending channels, and our signals all showing green, turning higher, and the momentum is strong. A couple other ones kind of watching, like ICP and Filecoin, coming off of long-term lows. Not betting a lot on those, but just kind of keeping an eye on those to see, because the potential to the old all-time highs is significant, and including a potential 45x, 48x, something along those lines. And if we get Fibonacci extensions, this may be next cycle targets, but Filecoin is one of the ones I do like, strong utility. Talking about meme coins, Fartcoin actually looking decent here, bouncing out of a buy zone here, double bottom, and out of our buy blocks. Lots of buyer support down in here, so can't go wrong. This probably will double also. MOG is another one. It's on Coinbase, and that's also in an uptrending channel. They're just coming off the bottoms on these, so these are some you may want to keep on the radar. Arrow is another one I called the other day. This is on the base chain, Coinbase's base protocol. They're going to be pushing that hard, and Aerodrome is one of the ones that I think is going to go a bit of sell pressure up above, but in a nice uptrending channel. So I won't go too far into too many of these. Sui keeping an eye on this, and probably expect some kind of zigzag like that. Polkadot also potential 10x if it can get up to old all-time highs from the last cycle. People don't realize that, but just going back to the old highs of the 2021 cycle, they still have great technology, parachains, and Stella Swap is an excellent yield farming protocol based on Polkadot. From current prices to the old time high in November 2021, that's a 13x here, guys. So keep Polkadot on your radar. Chainlink looking pretty good. It's kind of a boring one. It probably will double and get up in this range. Maybe goes higher, but I don't see it really going over $50 this cycle. Long term, great buy. Short term, not so much. XRP won the lawsuit apparently with the SEC. Didn't see a huge amount of fireworks. Went up a bit here today, and it's up a little bit here as well. But if I go to the daily, it does look good on the chart. Could push up higher into the $6 and $7 range on XRP according to the Fibonacci projections. So other than that, last one I'll talk about is Lido Finance. Had a nice little pump today, getting back above its 21 and 50-day exponential moving averages. We've done very well with Lido in prior calls like October of 23 when all that stuff was turning higher. These charts, when they start kind of curving higher like this and getting above their 21 and 50-day exponential moving averages, look good to me. And we're seeing our other signals starting to turn green, but not putting a much in Lido at this point. Keeping an eye on it. DeFi, we'll see. DeFi not looking terribly good, but if we go up to total DeFi, it is in a nice uptrending channel, but going to hit some resistance in here, and so as I've drawn, or breakthrough, come back and retest. So keeping an eye on DeFi, which includes Lido Finance and Ondo and Aave and some of the others, might make sense. Other than that, not a whole lot I want to talk about here. I think we've covered the bases. If we want to look at any of these other coins and meme coins, of course, Brett Token with the best name ever for meme coins. Seeing a little rocket right here. I think Brett, since it's on base, I think Brett Coin can do pretty cool things here this cycle. So that's all I have time for here to get today, guys. In terms of other industries and sectors to watch, I don't think gaming is ready, but I do like Gala Games. And I don't think Metaverse is ready, but I do like Metaverse, BRN Metaverse. Those are two outliers. If you want some exposure to gaming and Metaverse, check those out. Okay, everyone, take care, and I'll check back with you as things evaporate or as things happen. Hopefully not profits evaporating, but as things happen in the markets, I'll update you. And things are looking good, so hold on to your hats, and let's get ready for 150K. Cheers.